I come to the Father, I come to the Son, I come to the Spirit, the three in one. I come to the water, just as I am, oh God, make me new once again.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Fridays with Francis. That's right, I said evening. It's been a full day. This is the first chance I've had today to get in front of my computer and do this recording. I hope that it's been a good day for you. It's been a big day for the Daniel household today. Today, I got my second COVID shot, and Gail got hers earlier in the week. So we are all shot up. I guess you could say we're truly shot. But that's probably a topic for another time. Yes, I was thinking about it today as I was waiting in line for my second shot, and I was thinking how important it was to follow through with the process. And my thought began to venture down a path of what would it be like if I only got the one half of the COVID vaccine. Probably I would have some effectiveness with that, but what would it really be like if I just didn't do the second shot? The design for the process to be complete is to have both shots so that you can operate at ideally 95% effective. Hopefully that's the way it is. But I began to think about that, and my mind immediately went to the scriptures. And I remember from the Gospel of Mark, a situation where Jesus has just fed the multitudes and he's been teaching the disciples. They've been asking a lot of questions. And then they're making their way along and they bring to him a blind man. Now, we don't really know who brought the blind man. We don't know why they brought the blind man to Jesus, what they knew about Jesus. We don't know if it was an attempt to entrap Jesus, as we saw many cases through the scriptures, but the man was brought to Jesus. And the scripture says that they brought him to Jesus for Jesus to heal. And then the next statement, the next verse says something interesting. It says, Jesus took him by the hand and led him away. I think some of the other translations would say that Jesus took him to a solitary place. At any rate, Jesus took the blind man and he brought the blind man to a place where it was only he and Jesus. And Jesus said to him, after he touched him the first time, "Do you see anything? Do you see anything?" Now, the man's answer could have been, "Oh, yeah, I see. I see. I can see." But the image that he was seeing was only partial. It wasn't a complete image. And the fellow said to Jesus, I see people, but they look like trees walking around. And the scripture says that Jesus touched him again, and he saw all things clearly. Wonder what would have happened to this fella if he had never received the second touch. What if he assumed that what he was seeing was the way the world really was? And he only had a partial vision of the world. And he would have gone on through life living that way, thinking that the image of people looked like walking trees. Well, it's a fascinating thought to me. I remember someone explaining to me one time how the human eye works. Now, bear in mind, this is not my area of expertise. As a matter of fact, I'm still looking for my area of expertise. But just bear with me. And those of you who know a lot more about the construct of the eye and the functionality of the eye, just go ahead and laugh and get it over with as I try to explain this. But the image that I've been given as I've talked to people about how the eye functions is that when light comes through the pupil of the eye, the retina takes that image and it is inverted. It's upside down and reversed. And the brain ends up changing the impulse and turning it right side up, so that when the brain interprets what the eye sees, it sees the world as it really is. Now imagine what it would be like if that process was never completed. Imagine what the world would look like if everything was upside down and we never finished seeing it just like it was supposed to be. If we never had the second touch, we received the image, but we never had the brain to transform it into the proper image. Well, we'd go around seeing the world in some artificial kind of way, and the world would be completely upside down. Hey, we may be onto something here. I don't know about you, but in some ways it does seem as though the world is upside down, that we've lost our bearings somewhere along the way. It reminds me that the way in which Jesus healed the blind man is the way in which Jesus heals our view of the world. As the brain reinterprets the signal we receive from the world through the eye, Christ changes a world that is upside down and converts it into a world right side up. I remember many years ago, as I was preparing to leave from the church late one Sunday evening, it had been a very full day. We had had 3 services earlier in the day, and after lunch we'd had several meetings. Then in the evening hours, early evening, we had our youth group meeting, followed by another meeting. And when it was time to leave the church, I was locking everything up, and I was left there alone by myself. And when I got ready to leave the church and I turned the key in the door to leave from the church, I noticed something down and to my right. And it was a suitcase. At first, I blinked and I looked at it and I thought, am I really seeing what I think I see? That suitcase is not supposed to be there. So I walked over to it to get a closer look. And as I approached it, I heard this melodious, deep bass voice speak. And the voice said, "It belongs to me, son." Well, now I've got to confess. When I heard that voice, I did not immediately look up to heaven. But I knew that voice was, I couldn't see anybody attached to the voice. I just saw a suitcase. And then the bushes began to move. And out of the bushes stood this man I'd never seen before. He was a little dirty. He looked cold because it was a cold, late fall evening. And I said, could you tell me who you are? And he mentioned his name. And then I said, well, what are you doing here, hiding in the bushes of the church? He said, well, I didn't have anywhere else to go. I just got out today and I'm trying to get to Jacksonville. I said, got out of where? He said, prison. I said, uh-huh. Well, I tell you, I can't do much to help you right at the moment to get you to Jacksonville, but I can give you a warm place to sleep. And we began walking down the hill to the back of the church where he could sleep in a warm fellowship hall until the next morning. And as we started walking down the hill, it occurred to me, here I am walking down the hill with a man that's got a suitcase. I don't know what's in it. And he's just gotten out of prison. I don't know who he is. I don't know why he's here. I know nothing about him. And I just saw him as a stranger. I saw him as someone who was different from me. And so I said to him, so tell me, why were you in prison? I think he picked up on my uneasiness. And he said, son, there ain't no harm in me. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I ended up serving time for it. But I paid my time, and now I'm going back home. I'm going to begin again, because I used to be a minister. And God willing, that's what I'll do again. Well, I showed him to the fellowship hall, gave him a place to sleep. I contacted the bus station and made arrangements for him to have a ticket. And made arrangements for the bus to stop there by the church the next morning. And he caught the bus, and it took him all the way to Jacksonville. But I've remembered that story all along. I'm awfully glad that the vision that I had of that man wasn't the same all the way through, that there was a second opportunity to see him in a different way. It was an opportunity for me to see the world right side up. So Jesus touched the blind man for a second time, and he could see all things clearly. How's your vision today? What does the world look like to you? I believe that there are plenty of us who need a second touch of the Master's hand. And I pray that that is what we experience as we continue on our journey. So that's about it for Fridays with Francis. I trust that you have had a good day and you have a wonderful weekend. And I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Hopefully I'll have the video ready for you earlier in the day. So until then, God bless you, and please go in peace.
I come to the Father the three in one. I come to the water just as I am.